The Roman statesman and philosopher Seneca, living some 2,000 years ago, set out in one of a series of letters ideas about how to use your time, and specifically how to rescue your time. Those lessons persist today and continue to be valuable because, like all real wisdom, it speaks to the human condition. Continue to act thus, my dear Lucilius. Set yourself free for your own sake. Your own sake because it is your own life. And even though ideally we should live a good life, a life of service maybe, we can only live it effectively if we're first free. We're all indentured to one thing or another by default. We're born into a culture or a mindset or just following our own ego. We wind our way through life under a spell almost. And that tells us two things. First, that freedom requires action. It won't happen by default. And second, that freedom is best when it's put into service. That's what gives it meaning. If you attempt to shirk what you recognize as meaning, shirk that duty, it won't go well. You'll end up wandering at cross purposes with yourself. At least that's the idea. You can accept it or reject it, but that's what's being established here. Set yourself free for your own sake. It's the preliminary. You can choose to allot your time to doing good things, helping people, acting in service, whatever else, but until you set yourself free from the default impositions on time, the natural way that we fritter away time every day, we won't be able to use that time effectively. You'll keep looking for the time, but you won't find it. So that's why the first task to set ourselves free, and it's for our own sake because it is our life. Gather and save your time, which till lately has been forced from you, or filched away, or merely has slipped from your hands. Make yourself believe the truth of my words, that certain moments are torn from us, some are gently removed, and others glide beyond our reach. Well, that's the flip side. Moments you want to hold on to are fleeting. A precious moment is torn from you. You can't hold on to it. It ends too soon. It's not really under your control. Others are slower. You think you're on top of your time, but you suddenly discover you're not. You're behind. It glided away from you when you weren't even paying attention. A common experience. The most disgraceful form of loss, however, is due to carelessness. Furthermore, if you will pay close heed to the problem, you will find the greatest portion of our life passes while we are doing ill, a goodly share while we are doing nothing, and the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. You don't notice it until you start to notice it, and then you can't stop noticing it. Most of the things that we do in one way or another are unhealthy for ourselves or for others. We can lie to ourselves and say that they're good uses of time, but we know they're not. And if you haven't considered the use of each moment, its implications, then it's probably not a good use of time. And when we're not actively harming ourselves, we're often just wasting time. Now, having fun, recovering, relaxing, sleeping, just enjoying life, that's not wasted time. But how much of the time that we spend doing those things is beneficial? Because these same very real utilities, resting, enjoying, often also become cover-ups when we're no longer enjoying what we're doing, when we no longer need the rest or the relaxation, and in fact it is just an excuse. And the whole while we're doing that which is not to the purpose. Well, what is your purpose? Towards what are you acting? And are you working at cross purposes with yourself? We become the things we work towards. And if you're working in contrary directions, then the time that we spend, that's purposeless at best, and often just frustration because you're fighting yourself. And maybe all the more so frustrating because you haven't seen why it's happening. What man can you show me who places any value on his time, who reckons the worth of each day, who understands that we are dying daily? For we're mistaken when we look forward towards death. A major portion of death has passed already. Whatever years lie behind us are in death's hands. Every day of our lives is one we're not going to get back. If you wake up with a purpose in mind, start your day by thinking through the purpose of your day, you have a chance of setting yourself up for success. Otherwise, it's nearly a guarantee of setting yourself up for failure, at least regarding how you use your time. Any day is not coming back once it's spent, and that's the point Seneca's making. We're not partially through life. As they say, every day is the beginning of the rest of your life. Every day that's behind us is gone. It's gobbled up by the void. You're not getting that back. You can remember it, but you can't change it. And any day that you didn't apply a purpose toward is a day that lies in ruin. So in order to be happy, forget even about productive or effective, just to be happy, it pays to think about how you're using your day, how to save your time, literally save it, rescue it. Therefore, Lucilius, do as you write to me you are doing. Hold every hour in your grasp. Lay hold of today's task, and you will not need to depend so much upon tomorrow. That should be a straightforward idea, but it's so easy to forget. Every hour that is spent well benefits the next one. Our mental calculations allow us to be proactive or reactive. If we're reactive, our time is not ours. While we are postponing, life speeds by. Nothing, Lucilius, is ours except time. We were entrusted by nature with ownership of this single thing, so fleeting and slippery that anyone who will can oust us from possession. All objects, all things, all possessions, everything we own and have acquired, even have dominion over, are transient. They can be taken away, they can be destroyed. Other than death, life can't be taken away. The time that you have, while unknown in length, is yours and solely yours. It can't be disentangled from you. It is integral to you in a way that no possession can be. But it is fleeting, it is slippery, so much so that anyone can take it from you. Anyone can take your time away. What fools these mortals be, who allow the cheapest and most useless things, which can easily be replaced, to be charged in the reckoning as soon as they have acquired them, but they never regard themselves as in debt when they have received some of that precious commodity, time. And yet time is the one loan which even a grateful recipient cannot repay. And it is important that we say mortals, what fools these mortals be. It focuses our attention on the fact that our time is limited. It doesn't feel that way moment to moment, day to day, but it is limited. Possessions, because they have value, and it is real value sometimes, we assign a value to them. We're so very careful. We keep track of how much of the things we have. Often we do that for things that are not actually that important, would be, as Seneca says, easy to replace. And yet how often do we ever apply that same scrutiny to the time that we have available? How often do we budget it? How often do we lay it out the same way that we do with our property? You can free up someone's time the way that they can free up your time at however much time you have left. And no matter how grateful you are for it, and it is important to be grateful, you're not going to get more of it. And that makes it more precious than any possession. A thing which could be taken away or used up or change value, but the time is always yours to use. You may desire to know how I, who preach to you so freely, am practiced. I confess expense account balances as you would expect from one who is free-handed but careful. I cannot boast that I waste nothing, but I can at least tell you what I am wasting, and give you the cause and manner of the loss. I can give you the reasons why I am a poor man. In other words, time well used, and where not used, well, at least understood. Time seems to speed the older you get, but you can feel good about it if you paid attention to where it was going. My situation, however, is the same as that of many who are reduced to slender means through no fault of their own. Everyone forgives them, but no one comes to their rescue. Everyone's busy, busy, busy. We all recognize, or should recognize, that each other is busy. That's the adult world. But how often in our busy, busy world do we take time away from our busy, busy lives to help somebody else's busy, busy life and give them some time back, especially when it's on the credit of our own time? That's just life. That's what Seneca's saying. Everyone forgives them. Sure, you're busy. We get it. But we're not going to do anything about it. Your time is yours. My time is mine. It's a little cold and harsh. It's nice to come to people's aid, but recognize that people are not necessarily coming to save yours. They're much more likely to help you with funds, with an effort. But if you're busy, if you have things occupying your time, who will rescue you from that? What is this state of things then? It is this. I do not regard a man as poor, if the little which remains is enough for him. I advise you, however, to keep what's really yours, and you cannot begin too early, for, as our ancestors believed, it's too late to spare. When you've reached the dregs of the cask, of that which remains at the bottom, the amount is slight, and the quality is vile. Now that might sound incongruous today, especially when so many seniors often live rich, fulfilling golden years. But what has not changed is that if you haven't been paying attention to your time and you suddenly do turn around and realize you're in your 80s and you haven't done any of the things that you wanted to do, and now you have who knows what kind of time left, you could become bitter very easily, and maybe understandably. Not just because maybe you don't have that kind of energy that you did when you were younger, because you can still do things. That's a factor, but it wouldn't make you so bitter if you felt like you were where you ought to be, that if you had done the things that you wanted to do. A lot of that bitterness, a lot of that sadness, is our failure to pay attention to how time is progressing while it's progressing. Note what we're doing with the time when we have it, whether we're using it on pace with the things we wanted to do and adjusting to compensate. That's key. That's what's yours. Not all the time in our lives is going to be given to us. Some of it is guaranteed to be taken up with things, necessary things, sometimes wonderful things, but the time that is yours, recognize it. And however much length of time is in your life, whether it's short or long, free it for yourself and free yourself for it. Not because you need to grab on desperately to every fleeting second, In fact, that kind of desperation is usually the mark of someone who doesn't have control over it. Rather, mark the time because you do have control over it. You want to maintain that control over it, that consciousness of it. You want to live it well. And living well and using your time well starts by recognizing the time, marking each moment. That will allow you to set yourself free. And from there, you can progress. And that progress will give you peace over your time. You become less bitter, less worried, less fretful day in, day out. And then whether your days are numbered long or short, you'll be at peace because you're free.